What's going on, Steeler Nation? It is Victory Sunday as the Pittsburgh Steelers end up getting a dominant victory over the Cleveland Browns. Um, I know the game was at the end was only like a 14 point so or so win, but the that score doesn't necessarily tell the take of the whole game. Um, we started off slow at some points and was a little bit worrisome, but then we started picking it up. Um, the line is blocking way better these past 2 weeks, and their growth is really showing, especially when it comes to a guy like Broderick Jones, which people have been very critical about. And I have said it numerous of times. Wait until he gets in a groove. Let him get used to the left tackle spot again because he's been away from it for 3 years. And I know to a lot of people, 3 years isn't that long. Well, in football terms, yeah, it is. And I said, wait until he gets used to it, and then we'll see what Broderick Jones is really made of, and that he'll take that next step. And I really didn't expect them to come out the next 2 weeks and dominate the way they did. The good thing is we didn't allow a comeback. It was stressful free Steeler football. We had a few blown zone coverages that were concerning, but the D line for that game was completely terrorizing Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he couldn't stay in the pocket hardly to save his life. T.J. Watt, he didn't get a sack in this game, but 5 tackles, and then you had Nick Herbig, who had what, 3 sacks in this game, 2 sacks. He has like 4 or 5 sacks, maybe I think it was 4 sacks, 4 or 5 sacks on the year. He leads the team in sacks this year. And yes, that is over TJ Watt. But the reason I like that is because people aren't looking necessarily at Herbig to be the sack leader. I didn't, but I knew he was capable of it. I know what he's all about. He comes in, he wants to work, he wants to put everything he has into the game of football, and he shows it. Honestly, if you ended up starting him over Alex Highsmith, I wouldn't be mad at that because the thing is, Herbig gets a lot of pressure. He's not afraid of being physical, especially for his size. And when he gets into, like, when he is freelancing and he gets by the tackle, you just better hope and pray that your quarterback gets the ball out of his hands because it's going to be sack lunch for Nick Herbig, and he's proven that. This offense played great once again this week. Um, but another thing I would like to point out here is that we dominated or ended up dominating the Browns. And I love that. but I also want to see us open up the playbook even more. Like it, we need to get other people involved, and which we did, but there was also some missed targets during that game by Rodgers, and a lot of throws. One of them being to Darnell, which was he oversold him completely. Um, then another was towards um Metcalf, which completely torched um Tyson Campbell, and he just Rogers completely underthrew him. But besides that, besides just those mistakes right there, this was a great game. It was another great game by Rogers. You got you got Connor Hayward that got a touchdown. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. And DK Metcalf a touchdown. This offense has so far turned a new leap. And the reason I say so far is keep my I don't want my hopes to be too high, but I'm right here. I still always keep it 50-50 because you don't know what's going to happen. While I'm enjoying this game, while I'm enjoying the newfound life that the Steelers have found the past 2 weeks. Now we're sitting right now at 4-1, and and a lot of different things like blitz package. And I'm going to throw this out here. These would be my players of the game. It would go DK Metcalf. It would be between these were my players of the game this week, or at least the past 2 weeks. DK Metcalf, Nick Herbig, I'm going to throw Jalen Ramsey in there, at least for this game, because he had a really good game today. Jalen Ramsey blitzed 2 times and got 2 sacks out of it. And if you're a huge Steelers fan like I am, and you know how the Steelers would always blitz a guy like Mike Hilton back when we had him, um, you know how nostalgic this feels. Like the corner blitz coming off the edge, he did it perfectly both times. Both times he ended up getting a sack on the quarterback twice. I mean, there's not really much you could say other than he did a great job. Like for instance, Aaron Rodgers, 21 for 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a QBR of 123. And on receiving, DK Metcalf, 4 receptions, 95 yards. Longest run was, or longest reception was 25 yards. And 1 touchdown. Connor Hayward, 1 reception, 12 yards, and that was for the touchdown. When we get down to the defensive side, TJ Watt had 5 tackles, Darius Slay four tackles, or 3 tackles, 4 of those assisted tackles. Um, Joey Porter Jr. had 5 tackles, or 2 solo tackles, and I think 5 assisted tackles. Or yeah, I didn't realize, but Derek Hartman added another sack to his resume. So when we look at this, Nick Herbig, 2 sacks. Yeah, there's 2. Harmon, there's 1. That's 3. You add 2 more. That's 5. For, or would that be 6? Um. Okay. So let's add in the 2 sacks by Ramsey, plus the 1 by Harmon, plus Nick Herbig's 2 sacks. Five sacks, but I think we had 5, 6 sacks on the day. So yeah, um, a big game all the way around. I mean, we dominated the Browns in every bit of today's game. That's what I like. And when it comes down to it, I'll just say this: if Rodgers continues playing like he's been playing, I wouldn't mind him coming back because so far this college season, I haven't seen any quarterbacks that I really care about other than Lenore Sellers. More, you got more out of Oregon, but again, you don't know if he's gonna declare, and a couple more, or in some others. Um, again, who knows where Drew Aller will even be at because he just had a season-ending injury. So who knows if he even gets drafted. drafted in the first round in the 2026 draft. But I do believe there will be a quarterback taken in the first round for the Steelers. And the Packers just scored a touchdown. Um, but anyway, yeah, all the way around. I love the aggressiveness from the defense. We were sending blitzes off the side with Ramsey twice, which he ended up sacking the quarterback twice, which was beautifully done by him. Nick Herbig, who had 2 sacks, and Harmon, who had a sack as well. I mean, there's not really much negative to go on about other than waiting a little bit uh, to open up the playbook and uh, play free. And to me, that's a big question mark that still happens. But we did eventually end up opening up the playbook and getting other people involved, which is great. And yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers are now 4-1, and it's a possibility if if the Packers win this game that every team again in the AFC North will have lost once again because the Ravens just lost not too long ago. Let's see. Okay, the Ravens lost today. The Browns lost to us today. If the Bengals lose, they'll go to 2-4, and the Steelers are on a 3-game win streak at 4-1. Um, and right now the Bengals are at a 3-game losing streak. The Ravens are at a 4-game losing streak, and the Browns a 3-game losing streak. So we're the only ones that have a winning record in the AFC North. So yeah, if we continue dominating the way we have the past 2 weeks, and this defense and this offense continue that dominance, they can possibly go far. If they continue this, there isn't anybody in this. There is absolutely nobody that they couldn't beat, and they got a tough schedule coming up. I mean, looking at it, we got oh shoot, um, after the Bengals game, we got Green Bay, who will be coming to Pittsburgh on the well, yeah, coming to Pittsburgh after the Bengals game on October 26th. Colts, who will be coming to Pittsburgh, and then we'll be going to LA to play the Chargers, which are injury prone right now. And then we'll return home on November 16th to face the Bengals. And then we go to Chicago to face the Bears. The Bills will be coming to Pittsburgh. Then we have the Ravens and Dolphins. Again, I have us beating the Dolphins because the Dolphins are just fucking hot garbage. Oh fuck. But yeah, we got a tough schedule coming up. I do I do believe we can beat the Bengals, but I'm also not going to get my, you know, over or underestimate them because if we do, then we'll be walking into our own trap. But we continue playing the way we have in this game, or in these past two games, coming off a win versus the Vikings, and then coming in and dominating the Browns, then yeah, this team can fight for a Super Bowl, and that's what they want, and they're showing it each for the past two games so far have showed it. We need to continue this because we this is the crazy thing. We haven't even seen the full potential of this team. And as dominant as they're playing right now, they can be even more dominant. And that's what teams have feared about the Pittsburgh Steelers for so long. We have been dominant. We were dominant for the longest time until we started acting, mediocre. But if Mike Tomlin wants to win a Super Bowl with this team, this is the team to do it because you got the talent. It was just a matter of time of putting the pieces together, which it has shown. Offensive line doing great, has looked better the has looked good this year, better than the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years. Defensive line, linebacking, linebacker play, defensive back. It's all been clicking, and when that goes together, look at the result. When the puzzle pieces get put in the right spot, it falls into place. And that's what we need to continue doing. I mean, think about this. James Pierre played a decent game in his backup role. James Pierre of all players, and when his ass is clicking and is getting in the right spots, you know we're doing something right. I love the attitude that this team has been playing with. They're sitting there saying, we're not going to talk shit to you. We're going to go out and we're going to put it all together on the field, and that's going to be us talking. That's going to be our big talk. And we've been doing that. And that's a great thing because, for so long it's been TJ Watt that's been the one of the only bright spots out of Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith. But now you've got guys like TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Derek Harmon, who has gotten a sack in both games that he's been back in. Um, Keanu Benton, if you put him in his right spot, he'll dominate. The tech, put him in that tech spot, and a solid game from Darius Slay. Joey Porter Jr. had a great game. Besides those bogus ass fucking flags of illegal use of hands, which I don't even know where that came from because I didn't even see any. I mean, apparently now if you're sitting there and you're pushing the the lineman back, or you just hold your hand out and they just scrape up against their fucking uniform, it's um illegal use of hands. The officiating in this game was dog shit. It was dog shit. I don't know what the hell kind of crack they were smoking before this game, but they need to get to rehab and get their minds cleared because that was horrible. A flag was thrown for illegal use of hands on Jabril Peppers for no reason, whatsoever. Keep in mind, and then illegal use of hands gets called on Cam Hayward for shoving the guy back, the offensive line back during the play. How the hell does that happen? Like, what did they come from the medieval times where everybody only knew like where everybody go, oh, we got to fight. Like, is that where they come from? These referees, the Stonehenge days, because it was horrible, horrible officiating. It was dog shit all the way around. You wipe that, you wipe the ass so many times, but it just never gets clean. That type of dog shit. But yeah, uh, above anything else, dominant game, dominant play, all the way around. I love it. We did, even when we got flagged, this team didn't fold under the pressure of it, or not fold under pressure, but didn't let it get in their heads. And that's the biggest thing out of this. They didn't let any of that get in their fucking heads at all. And I love it. I mean, that's a huge, this is a huge relief if you're a Steelers fan when you see this team dominating like this. And this is versus a good defense, mind you, which was first in quite a few things, especially pretty good against the pass and good against the run. Now, they stopped us during the run, which was expected. But if you look at how this Steelers team plays, you know we don't have to necessarily get these 100, 200-yard games on the ground. When we can balance it out like we've been doing, it it opens up a world of possibilities going forward. And that's what we've been, us as a fan base have been nagging them for, is to show consistency and prove us wrong. Show how good you can be. And the scary part for other teams is that they know that this Steelers team can be even better than what they're playing. They're playing great now, great dominant football. They can be even better. What we've seen the past 2 weeks with this defense is that they're ready to come and outmuscle you and outplay you, and say, "Hey, listen, you motherfuckers obviously forgot who the hell we were. Now you're seeing our true potential." That's what we wanted to see. That's exactly the play we know we could bring. And it's finally coming together. The highest paid defense, guys, has looked like the highest paid defense, which is a great thing to finally say. Is that this team is playing as full potential, playing at an aggressive rate. So much so, think about this, so much so that the referees are even trying to get flags put on us, but we're saying, no, fuck that. We're not going to let you get in our heads. We're not going to let you play mind games. We're going to come out and we're going to stop you still. And they did that. Nick Herbig getting pressure. He's got 2 sacks. TJ Watt didn't have a sack, but he had 5 tackles. Jabril Peppers had a pretty decent game. Joey Porter Jr. had like 4 or 5 tackles. Patrick Queen had like 6 or 7 tackles. Derek Harmon had a sack. Nick Herbig, 2 sacks. Jalen Ramsey, 2 sacks. This is all coming together. And it needs to stay that way. It needs to stay being this great. But continue to get better as they go on. We didn't underestimate the Browns. We came in here and played, dare I say, Pittsburgh Steelers football, everybody. Pittsburgh Steelers football. Real Pittsburgh Steelers football. Where we were dominating on the offensive side, getting involved in the passing game, and then when they think it's going to be a passing play, we're running it with the football, and got a first down like 10, 12 yards at one point. I mean, think about what Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, and Jalen Warren could look like if this line continues to block the way it does and even gets better. My God, if I'm a coach, I'm terrified of that. I'm terrified of knowing what that could be. And the thing is, this ain't even overreacting. They're actually showing this on the field. On the field. It's not in practice. It's not in training camp. It's on the football field versus other teams and versus one of the most, well, considered the best defense this year in the NFL versus the Cleveland Browns. We held Quinshon Junkins to a limited big game. In fact, how many yards did he get? I think he had a very limited day. I think so. I might be wrong. Quinshon Junkins on 12 attempts, 36 yards. Last week we stopped. Um. Uh. Why am I having a brain fart? Son of a bitch! Why am I having a brain fart? I hate when. Um. Jordan Mason. We held Jordan Mason to 57 yards 2 weeks ago, and we ended up holding Quentin Junkins, who's a very good running back, may I add, and which was basically their whole offense. We held him to 36 yards. His longest run was 6 yards. Jerome Ford, he had the longest run for them, which was 12. Listen to this. Even receiving, the longest for David Njoku, 14 yards. Harold Fannin Jr., 24 yards. Jerry Jeudy, his longest receiving yards was, or his longest run was after catching the ball was 12. Rest of them are like Greg Lavenden, who had 14. Jamari Thrash, 9. Some, yeah, like they held this team in check. They held them in check big time. And I love it. It was something that needed to be done. There needed to be a change leading up to the Vikings game. They did that, and then they continued it going into the Browns game. Besides blown, those soft zone coverage plays, they've looked great. I love it. It's finally looking good. And it's not halfway, it's not like at the end of the season where we're showing what we can do. We're not even close to being over with the season, and they're showing this type of effort. Continue it, Mike Tomlin. I don't know what kind of fire you lit under these dudes' asses, but keep it there. Because if this team continues to play as dominant as they did here, I know it's versus the Browns, but still versus a very good defense who was first against stopping the run. They were first in a lot of things, but and pretty damn good against the pass, or was pretty solid against the pass. But still, we needed this. We definitely needed this game to show what we're really made of, and especially a guy like Broderick Jones. Guess what? Broderick Jones stepped up versus Myles Garrett. And besides the miscues from Rodgers a few times, what went wrong? Not really anything. And I'm so happy. It was stressful free football. And if you think you're dreaming, I'll say it again. This was stre- this was stress free Steelers football. Past 2 weeks. Besides that comeback, that if you take that out, they dominated. 2 weeks in, well, yeah, 2 games in a row. 2 weeks ago versus the Vikings in Ireland, and now we come back home and beat the Browns. But this is then a video. Hope you all enjoy, and enjoy your Sunday, because I'll tell you what, I sure as fuck am, because I feel good. Even with my allergies, I'm going to sit here and enjoy myself because the Pittsburgh Steelers won in dominating fashion the past two games, and I'm going to enjoy it. So hope you all have a blessed day. Here we go, Steelers, and I'll see you in the next live, which will be versus the Green Bay Packers. And I'll tell you what, if they can beat the Packers, which is a really good defense and a good offense, they possibly have a chance to do it all this season. But I'm going to be one of those where I'm going to wait until the playoffs. If they continue to be dominant in the regular season, then they transition it to the postseason. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talk. But here we go, Steelers. Peace.